Sacred Sistering goes far beyond what people tell us to think. It goes far beyond what people have told us about ourselves. It goes far beyond how we know how to care for other people. I think Sacred Sistering is divine, and it leads to healing and life giving spaces and places inside of us. The inspiration for my devotional came out of my experiences with other Black women. I didn't treat the Black women in my life the way I should have. I was so caught up in systems, I was so caught up in institutional practices that ignored us. So I had to find a better way to care for myself, and I had to find a better way to care for the sister seated next to me. So the title of my devotion is "We Are Sisters, Not the Oppressor. Resist Sexism." And the scripture comes out of Genesis chapter 16, and it centers the story of Hagar and Sarah. So here is an excerpt from my devotion. We know what oppression feels like. We know what it's like for someone to ignore our greatness, take our ideas, and underpay us. We also know the feeling of having the power to make decisions that affect our sisters. We are often the oppressed, and if we're honest, we are also like our oppressors. Sometimes we use and manipulate each other when it benefits us. One day we're Sarah, and the next Hagar. We impregnate other women with our mess, and when they experience complications, we leave them. And that's not sistering. Truthfully, if we are often placed in complex positions. When we encounter each other, our wires have intentionally been crossed. Our communication, compassion, and counsel and care are tied up in violent systems. Maybe this was the start of Hagar and Sarah's relationship. Perhaps their wires were crossed before they said one word to each other. They lived as though their value was measured by who could follow rules the best. You know, sometimes you have to read things to understand if you are actually experiencing them. And I think this is what this devotional will do. That they will read the stories of all the bold women who have poured their hearts out. And they will have permission, not that they need it, but they will have permission to tell their stories and to be better sisters. So as a Black woman, I often have to walk into spaces that don't fully see me, don't fully care for me, and Rise is the opposite of that. So I was able to connect and be with other brilliant women who were going through, but we're also paving paths and opening new ways to freedom and liberation. So I was not just empowered, but I was inspired. And it led me to be more confident in my voice, in my calling, and what God has called me to. So Rise offers something different that the world needs. And I believe that other institutions and other spaces can really learn a lot from Rise, can really learn a lot from the women who make up that space and all the women who will enter the space.